We've gone from 0 to 300 million in 7 months, all in crypto. People bring us their digital assets and we provide all the wealth management stuff that you get from like a Schwab or Fidelity account, but for your crypto. We have algorithmic strategies that we run and we have advisors that we work with proven track records, and we're able to generate 10 and 20% returns.
Are there coins out there that are in existence today that are going to do 1,000x? You're the only professional RIA that does what? Say it again.
We manage digital assets, so people
only.
Yeah, we do not. We're working on getting other asset classes, but currently we've gone from 0 to 300 million in 7 months, all in crypto. People bring us their digital assets, and we provide institutional custody, insurance on it, beneficiaries on the accounts, all the wealth management stuff that you get from like a Schwab or Fidelity account, but for your crypto.
So if I in my Coinbase, for example, have $500,000
Yep.
from remnants of the old days, that's what it is.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's remnants, because I used to have a bunch of Bitcoin, and I got it when it was like $600.
Oh, we crushed it, dude.
Throughout the day, I moved it and did whatever I did and blah 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 blah. But there was a couple left, and I even have three or four that I put on some cold storage because everyone scared me. You better get it out of here. Yep. So now I don't remember the passphrase and I can't figure out where it is.
Well, that's the problem. That's exactly what we're trying to solve.
Yeah, but if I give it to you, then boom, it's covered, it's insured. It's if I died, my wife would get it.
You got it.
So that's what you meant by the custody's a little bit better and more safe.
It's safer. Yeah. The way that we structure it, I could get into the technical stuff, but basically nobody ever sees your keys. We don't see your keys. They rekey the wallet every time we do a transaction. They encrypt it and shard it and then hold it.
Do I know the keys?
You're a signer.
What if I lose the keys?
You can't lose the keys. They're on a proprietary blockchain.
Yeah, so it's like way safer.
Absolutely.
See, so you should have told me that, and I would have said, well, there's what the frickin' bomb squad should do. Yeah. Like anybody listening right now, if what you're saying I understand correctly, if you got your shit in Coinbase even. Right.
There's counterparty risk. If Coinbase, I don't think is going to go anywhere. Obviously, they're a publicly traded company. But we've seen Celsius, you had FTX. There was lots of things that went bankrupt.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything with it. You'd be doing something with it.
Well, yeah, we'll generate returns and be able to provide you liquidity against it. And yeah.
But that's my point. Like right now, it's just in Coinbase. I either sell it or I don't. Now, again, I can move it around, but that's me knowing everything, and I know nothing. So there's a lot of people like me that they've got Bitcoin, they've got Ethereum, they've got XRP, they've got whatever. They should transfer it to your custody, and then you're making money. Can you lose it for me?
We do everything we can to mitigate risk. So we remove all the counterparty risk so that, if somebody
you use it though.
Yeah, we put it in strategies. So we have algorithmic strategies that we run, and we have advisors that we work with proven track records, and we're able to we're targeting somewhere between 10 and 20% returns on, Bitcoin, XRP, and a few others.
Now, what happens if I gave you, for example, 100,000 XRP?
That's our minimum. So that's perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, shit. I don't know how many I have. I got to look. But when I bought it, it was 63 cents.
Yeah.
And I think I gave him 50 G's. So maybe it wasn't 100,000.
Okay. We're pretty close.
100,000 at 60 cents would have been around 63,000. So it's just right under 100,000. So you wouldn't even take my 80,000.
We occasionally will drop that down to 50,000 XRP at a minimum, but most of the time you need at least $500,000 in total portfolio value for us to bring you on as a client.
Yeah, but then you take that and you ultimately mix it with the family office's money where you're all producing.
We don't even commingle assets. So that's the other benefit here. And my major concern was I didn't want my stuff commingled with other people like it is on Coinbase. So you get a completely separate account that's an FBO account or for the benefit of in your name. And we're able to then use strategies and other stuff to be able to generate returns without that risk. Yeah.
Yeah. So ultimately, dude, you took some money right around COVID.
Yep.
And you said, let me get in the stock market. And you picked a few basically blue chip foundational deals. Because again, Facebook.
Yeah. Google, Tesla, Amazon.
Yeah. Like those
stuff that I knew wasn't going to go away. Yeah.
So you put your money in there and sure enough, boom, it went up. And then you took that money, which wasn't a whole bunch. And then you started putting it in crypto.
Yep.
and then it went up ridiculous. You picked some winners.
Yes.
How did you pick the winners?
A lot of research. So same thing I would look at for traditional equities. Like you gave an example about, you looked at Bill Gates investing in Moderna.
Yeah.
Right. I looked at other people that I thought had credibility and had done well in the space and said, okay, what are these guys buying? And they're on YouTube or whatever other channel talking about it. And they gave reasons as to why, Theta was probably the biggest winner that I had. So I got in Theta at like 9 cents. It went to $15. And it just kept running, and has T-Fuel.
What's it now?
I think it's back down like $3-4, but at its height. And I got out way before the 15. I should have wrote it longer, but I've sold most of it at about $1.
No shit. Yeah. You should have just waited.
Well, you never know. So those are other lessons that I learned early on was like never liquidate your full position. You want to average in and average out, right? Because you don't know if it's going to keep running up. You always want like to leave a forever bag in there if you are going to take profit. So strategies that I've seen be successful are like, average out and leave about 20 to 30% of whatever you bought for perpetuity.
Because if it goes to zero.
Yeah, you're on the house at that point, right? And I think market dynamics are going to change, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, when it's good, it's good, man. It's running up fast.
So if I have $500,000 in my Coinbase account and I transfer that to you, if the market goes up to where, like, if I left it there, I see the difference. Mm-hmm. I get that already, don't I?
Yeah. So we structured the fees pretty interesting because we've compensated, right? So we do 2% for AUM fee, just like any other asset manager on anything less than 5 million. Between 5 million and 10 million, we go to 50 basis points. Anything over 10 million, we do 40 basis points. We have a special right now going for anybody that has more than 425,000 XRP. We're doing 20 basis points lifetime because I think those people are going to be
super wealthy.
Yeah. And then we give you the first 8%. So I don't know if I'm sure you've done real estate deals where they pay you a pref. And some of them do a catch up, right? So they'll pay you the first 8% and then the next 2% goes to them. We don't even do that. We pay the first 8% of returns every single year to our clients. And that's on their total portfolio. Anything beyond an 8% return, we go 80-20 on. So we don't make any more money until we make you a bunch of money, basically. It's the way I've structured it.
Well, I'm going to look and see how much I got, and it already makes me think it'd be easier with you than me. But what I wanted to make sure of, because Coinbase is there, and if I want to get money, I sell it. I don't know how to borrow against it.
Well, we can do either.
I know, but I like that because I don't want to sell it.
Right.
But I might want some cash. So it's like, hey, give me $100,000, and then that's tax free.
Right.
So then I take that, but my shit's still there in case it goes through the roof again.
100%.
So I never want to sell my
assets.
coins, or my digital assets.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit. Like, I sold a bunch thinking that's how you get your money. If I'd have kept them all, I'd probably have 220 Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
And
I've got another client that is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, someone paid me 20 Bitcoin to go speak in the Philippines once. And
that's cool.
It was $600 at the time.
Right.
So they basically said, hey, I'll give you $12,000 to come speak. And I'm like, cool. And they said, do you take Bitcoin? I said, sure. So they sent me 20 Bitcoin. Dude, now that I look, it's like they sent me $2 million to go speak.
Right.
I should have just saved the damn Bitcoin and borrowed against it. And I didn't need the money, but I thought, well, I better get my money. Otherwise it could be zero.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stupid. And it still could go to zero.
Bitcoin is interesting. I've got some different beliefs around that. I think you're going to we'll get into the story of why there's going to be some volatility in the market, but I still believe in like long-term vision for that, millions of dollars. I just think people are going to be caught off guard in the short term here with some stuff.
Millions per Bitcoin?
Potentially. I mean, it's a limited supply. There's only ever going to be 21 million of them. There's a lot of things that point to it being adopted at scale at this point, but the ROI is not there, right? Even if it went to 1 million at this point, you get 10x, which is still really good. It's way better than most other assets. But there's some headwinds for it. So I'm not completely sold on that, but I think it is a likely outcome.
Yeah, but 10x I'll take it.
Yeah, 10x over another 5 years is,
I'd take it from 500 to 5 mil.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Borrow against it.
Yeah, I'll take it. So it's, no one thought it would get to 100. I mean, there's plenty that did, but nobody really knew it would go as far as it went.
Right.
Are there coins out there that are in existence today that are going to do 1,000x? All you got to do is know what to look for and find them and bet on them. Because there's kids out there betting every night. They got to stay up all night or something. How does that work?
We don't trade short-term volatility. We do have algorithms that will do that, high-frequency trading models that we run. But for the most part, we're picking long-term bets, investments, 4 to 5 year time horizons for things to play out, and trying to pick winners in the market that are actually going to be used and have real-world value and use case that are going to drive. And the other piece of that is, so you're on this roller coaster with Bitcoin because it is speculative, and there's some other market constraints around that. With the utility of some of these assets, you're going to have a high price that's going to be sustained because there's going to be volume moving over the network.
Like XRP.
XRP is my go-to for that, yeah.
So let's talk about XRP because I bought a chunk. Mm-hmm. If that goes to, was it like 250 right now?
Yeah, 230 this morning.
So let's say it goes to $20.
10x, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd have a nice little chunk of change there.
Yep.
What happens if it goes to 2,500? Like stupid.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
If what needs to happen happens. What needs to happen for that to happen?
There's a lot of things that have to, that's the requirements for that to happen. A lot of people just tell you, there's, flip a switch, get out of here with that stuff. There's actually global macroeconomic events that need to play out in order for that supply shock to take place to push it to that value. And that's what it would have to be. There's supply and demand economics. People look at total market cap, but in reality, it's whatever the supply is on the market for purchase that drives the liquidity and the market dynamics and value.
But can't they make more XRP?
They cannot. So originally there was 100 billion. XNS was what it was originally called, minted June 2nd of 2012. And they black holed that account. So what that means is nobody has access to it. They can't get back into it. They can never mint more. Nobody can freeze the XRP. It is locked at 100 billion and 5,000 of them are burnt every single day. So it's literally the only deflationary asset besides like uranium on the planet.
Well, that makes it more valuable.
Yeah.
I read reports about XRP and they say it'll never get that high because the market
cap's going to look ridiculous to people. People are going to have a hard, but it's a protocol.
Yeah, but they're saying that can't happen. And again, talking to other people, they are like, yes, it can.
It can.
If the whole global payment system went to right on Ripple, the market cap is in the trillions.
Quadrillions or pentillions. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that happens, which again, I'm just reading articles. I don't know if it's true. They say it's the only one that can do it.
That is correct.
Well, then again, that makes it almost seem like a no-brainer. If that's the truth, how do you know this shit's the truth?
So I'm probably a little bit different than most people. I try to get stuff from the horse's mouth. And we do a lot of things. Like, so you mentioned syndicately, like we're tokenizing private equity. We talked to a lot of the players in the space about payments, about settlement, tokenization of real world assets on specific chains. You just had Polymath on the podcast. We've talked to them. A lot of people are, Ethereum based. But I think the EVM is going to play a role, but I don't think it's going to be on Ethereum that's going to win out there. So anyway, had conversations with large enterprises, MasterCard, Visa. We've talked to a lot of the large banks, discussed things with Ripple occasionally. So you mentioned R3 Corda. They are another infrastructure provider for banks and institutions, and I'm certified in our business.
Are they running on Ripple?
They can settle through it if there's enough liquidity in it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's always if. Well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
She would.
So how do we like? What's the likelihood of that happening?
I think there's going to be global macroeconomic events that require it. That may or may not be orchestrated. We'll see.
Such as.
We'll break it down for you. So I put out a theory about a year and a half ago called the domino theory, and it involves the reverse carry trade in Japan which some people on the show may be familiar with, but I'll explain it at a high level. So tens of trillions of dollars have been borrowed from the Bank of Japan over the past couple decades because there's been no interest on it. Like if you could get free money, hell yeah, So we've seen pension funds, institutions, hedge funds, banks, Warren Buffett, almost everybody's borrowed if they could from the Bank of Japan. And they've taken that money, swapped it for dollars because they borrowed it in yen, and they put it to work in the U.S. stock market, equities, private equity, gold, crypto, all these places. We saw this start to unwind last year in August when the Bank of Japan started raising interest rates. So it's now people are starting to get squeezed. They borrowed this free money, and now they got to refinance that debt or pay it off. And if they're not able to cover or service the debt at the new higher interest rates, just like the U.S. government, then they default and there's problems. Right.
But don't they have the original amount?
They've put it to work somewhere to generate returns.
Well, time's up.
Right. And so you have to account for when you liquidate those positions, you're going to have taxes and you're going to have a broker fee, whatever that's going to cost you.
Hold on. You why would you have taxes on the borrowed amount?
Well, so originally when you borrowed it, it wouldn't be taxable, right? Any debt is not taxable, but if you put it to work somewhere and generated capital gains on it,
the gains are taxable.
Correct. So
but if I borrow $8 billion from you, I put for zero.
Yep.
I put the $8 billion over here, and I'm making 10%.
Yep.
I'm making $80 million a year. That's taxable.
Right.
But when you're like, okay, now I want interest, and I'm like, no, that wasn't the deal, bitch. And you say, no, we're raising interest, and I was like, I ain't paying that shit because I can't make it. You're like, you want 9% now.
Right.
Well, I'm just gonna sell the $8 billion and give it back.
Well, but it's appreciated because you put it in stocks or something else. Like look at the stock market over the past 10 years. Like it's especially since 2020, we've seen a significant upside in stocks. So all of that money that's been put to work has capital gains on it. And when you go to liquidate it, you're going to have at least long-term capital gains of 20%.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's the profit. I can give you your $8 billion back though.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm just saying there's considerations, right?
Yeah,
so
but nobody's like taking $8 billion and now they can't pay it back.
Well, it depends on how much leverage they have. So some people have levered themselves to the hilt and just refinanced this debt and paid those loans back in other means and borrowed more money somewhere else. And so you have all this leverage that's built up in the system. And that's the reason you saw, the stock market take a 13% hit in August last year when everybody had to liquidate their positions same day to rush to pay things back. And that's the problem. It's going to be everybody at once. When
that was coming?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the secret that the bomb squad needs to know, and how do we take advantage of it?
You're going to watch for, I think there's going to be some type of event with oil that's going to cause the Bank of Japan to have to raise interest rates. And as soon as they do that again, you're going to see the reverse carry trade unwind at scale globally. So there's going to be pressure across the board on all asset classes. It's not going to matter. Equities, gold, bonds, treasuries.
Are they all going to drop?
Yes.
In a big way?
Yes. Because they're going to have to liquidate those positions to repay that debt. It's going to be a credit crisis. It'll be a global margin call is what it'll be. And when that happens, all those treasuries, Japan owns $1.6 trillion in U.S. debt. They're going to have to liquidate those positions. The only recourse that we're going to have is to pass stablecoin regulation here in the U.S., which just happens to be on the floor here of the Senate and the House to get passed through, the Genius Act. That will stabilize the debt market. They're estimating $2.3 trillion-ish of demand for treasuries to back stablecoins here in the U.S. So Bank of America, Citi, Goldman, all these large banks will issue stablecoins. You might get, Google and Amazon and Apple, because they have Apple Pay, Tesla, issue their own stablecoin for payment. And they'll have to back all that with the treasury. So we'll have the demand to stabilize the treasury market, which is great. We'll save the dollar. Unfortunately, with that, it's going to come with some implications for Tether. So I don't know if you're familiar with the number one stablecoin for crypto, but they currently have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And the way that the bill is structured, you can't do that. You have to back it with only U.S. dollars or treasuries. And so they wouldn't be compliant, and they could freeze accounts across all these exchanges immediately. So there's going to be huge, chaos in the crypto market.
How soon?
Very, in my opinion.
Yee! Hey. Better pay attention.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you study this shit.
Yeah, this is all I work on.
And you've got hundreds of millions in it.
Yeah, we got 300 million under management.
So you're probably paying a little bit closer attention than other people. Well, isn't your 300 million going to be affected?
It could be, unless it plays out the way I think it's going to. And I think it'll be affected.
Some dice, dude.
I think it'll be affected in a good way. So you have spot ETFs for XRP that have been queued up. They're ready to go. We're just waiting on BlackRock to roll theirs out.
Who's we?
The people that own XRP.
So I'm waiting too?
Yeah, you're waiting too.
See, I didn't even know I was waiting. All right, now I know what I'm waiting on. Yeah. BlackRock, hurry up.
BlackRock will roll their ETF for XRP. The SEC will approve. They'll drop the case with Ripple.
I thought they did that already.
It's almost done. We're waiting. So there was some clerical errors somehow by people that have been paid, $500 million to fight this court case. I don't know why or how there's clerical errors if you're making that much money as an attorney. But the judge, pointed those out on the last ruling, and the SEC is going to have one more retort here, where I think they're going to have to fall on the sword to get Ripple's ability to sell to institutions back here in the U.S., which will be a really big benefit if this is adopted in this capacity to help the U.S. prosper moving forward instead of inhibiting blockchain's ability.
Well, you see the CEO of Ripple all buddy with Vance and Trump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, there's something there. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, and this is the stuff, right? Like if you're paying attention and you're seeing who's talking to who, what rooms they're in, you can discern like where the industry's going. It's not overly complicated.
Well, come on, XRP. Come on, BlackRock.
So once they roll that, they'll be able to drive a bunch of liquidity into XRP all at the same time. And the reason they're going to need to do that is Bitcoin has these ETFs, and there's huge exposure at this point to pension funds. We've got all of the banks have spot ETF allocations. And it's if Bitcoin were to fall 30, 40, 50% in a day, that's huge unrealized losses. And the people that are buying the ETF, they're not holders. They're here to make money on Bitcoin. They're fair weather, right? Yeah. So they're going to liquidate positions. They're going to be scared. So I think it'll just as it exacerbated on the way up, I think it'll exacerbate it on the way down too. And so the only way that the investment banks and other people that are holding these spot ETFs are going to be able to de-risk real time is if they move to real-time settlement of the back end of the stock market. In 2022, the DTCC developed Project Ion with R3. And the primary settlement mechanism for that is XRP if there's enough liquidity in it. So all they got to do is drive a bunch of liquidity into it using the ETFs, cause a supply shock, drive the price up, and then they can de-risk themselves from those significant losses because they won't be able to pull from traditional positions because of the pressure of the reverse carry trade there also. So it's a perfect storm for us to see somewhere between a $50 and a $2,000 XRP.
Wouldn't that be freaking sweet? Then I'd add my name to the wall of crypto billionaires. There's a lot of youngsters out there, and I know a few that were just regular Joe Blows. They weren't freaking, finance majors. They were just in the right place, right time, bought the right coin, and literally worth over 100 million.
Easy.
Now I know a couple of them that sold. Like they're not chancing that shit anymore.
Right. Lock it in.
Because they know what they did. They got fucking lucky. They got lucky. And I might be one of them because I don't know enough to keep it in there.
Right.
What gives you the nut sack to keep all that in there? Because what if it all crashed and went to shit? Is it even possible?
At this point, not really.
Would you die if you lost 300 milski?
I mean, so our clients brought us that, right? So those were their investments.
Well, they'd be the ones killing you.
They might be a little upset. We do have a hedge fund, but our hedge fund primarily focuses on ability to generate returns on the assets.
Yeah.
So we didn't make the investments in XRP. That was a conviction that our clients had that they brought us that amount of money. And same thing with Bitcoin. Like people have conviction there, but they don't have the security or the all the other stuff that we provide. So we're not and we don't take any upside on those investments either. If you bring us the crypto, just like you brought us cash, we only get paid on our efforts.
Okay. So like I bring you, let's just keep it simple. Yep. I bring you $500,000 in Bitcoin.
Perfect.
I put it in your possession.
Yep.
It's even better than in my possession.
Yes.
that's a reason to do it right there. That's probably why I would do it right there. But on top of that, because hold on real quick.
Yeah.
If I give it to you and don't you have it on an exchange somewhere, like what's the difference?
So
because if these guys lock down, don't you get locked down? Why?
So we're bankruptcy remote, segregated. So Anchorage is our institutional custody partner. They're the only federally chartered bank in the U.S. They're holding BlackRock's ETF and all of the Bitcoin and everything.
What is an ETF?
An exchange traded fund. So most people are familiar with like the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. It is a institutional structured product that allows you access to some underlying asset, but in your 401k.
Well, anytime I hear BlackRock, I'm like, whatever they're doing, because that's the ones who run this shit.
Well,
I don't care what anyone tells you. They run the fucking world.
If you want to go look, the head of their digital assets division is Robbie Mitchnick, and he used to work at Ripple. He's removed that from his LinkedIn. But if you dig, you can see that he worked at Ripple for a couple of years before he went to BlackRock.
But maybe he don't like Ripple. Maybe Ripple fired him. Maybe that's not a good sign.
Maybe they let him go. Or maybe it's a strategic move by BlackRock to know exactly how to use a specific asset inside their infrastructure.
Probably makes more sense. However, though, like, you get those disgruntled ex-employees that are like, I'll show you.
Yeah, go over here and beat you. Yeah,
because BlackRock has how much money? They got the most money out of anybody, right?
Yeah, 10 or 11 trillion is what they currently manage.
Yeah, so 10 trillion. Ain't nothing happening to that.
No, they're not.
They run shit.
Well, then I think that they are kind of a proxy position for the U.S. government because our government can't buy stocks directly, and BlackRock's played a significant role in repackaging the debt after 2008. Like that's what Larry Fink is really specialized in. And what they've done over there is make sure that we were able to take the bad debt from 2008 and structure it in a way where it could get paid off. And I think some of this digital asset stuff might be the coup de grace on that.
It is what it is. It's a freaking syndicate, bro. They're all in it. And we're stupid, and we're not.
Well,
you're probably 1,000 levels down from a bunch of those guys, and you're 100,000 levels above most people. So it's like, dude, imagine being in the top of BlackRock. Yeah. Whatever they're doing, bro, that's what I want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're following that, you're going to do good.
Yeah. So is that what the XRP is saying? Like BlackRock has it, and BlackRock's using it.
I personally feel like, not from any conversations I've had or NDAs that I'm under, that BlackRock and Ripple are much closer aligned than people realize.
Well, I know that the CEO of Ripple was shaking hands with Vance and Trump, and Trump's a fan of crypto. Mm-hmm. I think the national debt is going to get fixed with digital assets. Imagine
we've got a bunch of XRP on the balance sheet somewhere that hasn't been audited yet, and it goes to these crazy prices overnight. So now you've got an asset that's appreciated 1,000x or 2,000x on the balance sheet of the U.S. government. And
what a coincidence.
Yeah. And that's exactly what people understand, right? Like they're looking at Bitcoin and thinking, okay, this is a way that we can pay off our debt. We can structure this the right way. I think you're going to need a little more juice than what Bitcoin's got left in it. Yeah. And I think this is the way that they're...
Why couldn't the government just make their own coin and say the rest of them are illegal?
That's a great question. The rest of the world wouldn't use it. Just like we've sanctioned Russia and the BRICS nations have tried to set up chips, which is different than the SWIFT system. You need some way to be interoperable, and you need some way that's trustless for people to interact over something, even if they don't like each other. And if you had one centralized government issue a stable coin, just like the U.S. dollar, this is exactly how the U.S. dollar's worked. We've had to enforce it with our military over the past 100 years.
Like you will use this dollar.
And now the rest of the world is saying, no, we're not. We're getting off of the petrodollar standard. You guys didn't keep your promises in Bretton Woods and keep it pegged to gold like you said you were going to. And now you're sanctioning us, keeping us from participating in global economics. We're just going to step aside and do something else unless you guys want to get on board. And so every country will issue their own CBDC or stable coins. I don't think we'll get a CBDC here in the U.S., but you'll have private stable coins and you'll get a choice. You'll be able to use whatever bank stable coin you want, and there'll be additional benefits or points or travel points, just like your credit card for using, whatever stablecoin they have. But the other piece is you need something that allows the dismantlement of Nostra Vostra accounts. So I don't know. Have you ever seen an international wire? You said the guy paid you in Bitcoin instead of sending you a wire, right? Because it's beneficial. It's faster. It's cheaper, right? Right now, there's $27 trillion locked up across the world, banks holding money somewhere else to be able to settle there. And they have to pre-fund that account to be able to do it. With this technology, they can unlock all that money and then go put it to work earning yield somewhere else. So that's the other benefit here. Adopting this technology and utilizing this back-end infrastructure unlocks $27 trillion that the banks can then earn and deploy and do other stuff with. And if you did that if everybody just went to stable coins and you didn't have a bridge asset, you're just doubling down on that. Now every bank has to hold another bank's currency at the other bank to be able to settle with them. You need some type of bridge. And that's what this provides.
So let's get back to the scary shit.
Yeah.
So the reverse
carry trade
is going to take effect here pretty quick, likely.
Yep.
It's going to cause Bitcoin to crash.
Yep.
Not too bad though, because like to me, crash is zero.
Yeah, I think
going from 100 to 40, like it's still worth 40 G's.
I think you could see as low as 20.
Now, would you buy at that 20?
If you believe in the long-term narrative, it's going to a million. Hell yeah.
But do you think it will?
I'm here for ROI. The reason I'm positioned in XRP over Bitcoin, and Bitcoin could end up a tier 1 asset. We've already seen it rolled in a lot of large ways. We got the reserve here in the U.S. I want premium collateral that I can borrow against and earn yield with. And that's why I'm positioned with XRP in particular. And
it's got a bigger likelihood of return.
Correct. The ROI on it will be much more significant than Bitcoin.
It'd be like when Bitcoin was $5.
Exactly.
So, so that's going to happen. And once you see that happen, you're saying that the only real solution is to basically pump up XRP so the value will mitigate the
risk
crash.
of loss. Yeah, exactly. That's how they will problem reaction solution.
Yeah. And again, I mean, if BlackRock's anywhere near it, I would agree. So I need to go buy more XRP.
It's not financial advice. Nothing said here is financial advice. It's only for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
That's 100% correct.
Yeah.
I said the other day, man, people should go invest in that. And I thought, dude, should I even say that? Because like you'd think you can't hold me accountable, and all of a sudden you're sued.
If it goes down a little bit, they lose some money. People get scared on things. You know, you have to have conviction. You make your own choices in this life.
I always tell everybody.
And if you want financial advice, you can come to us, and we will tell you where to put your money. Digital Wealth Partners is the name of the SEC registered RIA. We have licensed professionals that hold their Series 6, 7, 65, 66, 63.
That's who needs to tell you.
Exactly. They will do it inside of institutional custody and do it the right way where we're mitigating all risk of loss.
And by the way, tell them where to go again.
digitalwealthpartners.net is the SEC registered RIA.
So your jakeclaver.com, that's just a personal.
Yeah, it's like a link tree
website.
You'll be able to find all the links there.
And if you could have the bomb squad do anything, what do you want them to do? Because I guarantee you that, there might be some wealthy ones, but they're not all got, that kind of money. So what would you have the first one, the average bomb squatters do that want to get that kind of money? Nothing they can do with you other than watch what you're doing and copy it?
I mean, yeah, you could do that. Or
do you have what you're investing in public?
We do not. Yeah, it's not listed on our website anywhere.
You should offer that for the ones that can't afford to be with you. Just say, you can't afford to be with us, but we will tell you what we're doing for an X amount of dollars. And now you open it up to a whole bunch more people.
That's what we do with the mastermind group. Right. And I do lives every Monday and Wednesday night. So I tell people for free where my personal portfolio is.
Yeah. Is that where are you at? I'm going to start watching.
Jake Claver on YouTube.
Jake Claver. I'm following you. Folks, if I was you, I'd follow you. This dude seems like one of those lucky bastards. Huh? Were you always like a analyst-y type, or
Not really.
Did you get lucky?
I think so.
Yeah. So what makes you think you can keep getting lucky?
I doubled down and made sure I knew what I was doing.
Started research.
Yeah. Well, and so Warren Buffett says that diversification is a hedge against ignorance. So if you're ignorant about something, it makes sense to diversify across a large swath of stuff because you don't know for sure which one's going to be the thing. But if you know for sure which one thing is going to work, you go all in on that thing. You take a big swing, right? I'm sure there's been things in your life where you've had a fat pitch where you can see it coming, and you're like, I'm going to wind up and hit this one good, right?
Coincidentally, yes.
Yeah. So you only get 2 or 3 of those in your life. This is one of those for me.
So, and your fat pitch is XRP?
My fat pitch is understanding how to help people that have a bunch of XRP or Bitcoin or any of this stuff. But yeah, XRP in particular, being able to see that coming before anybody else.
Now, there's other people because you go on the internet sometimes and for some reason I'm attracting them probably because I have it.
The algorithm.
Yeah. And it's like, there's people going XRP. And then all of a sudden you see the guys going, dude, these XRP idiots, there's not that much market cap. All you got to do is look here. They're fucking stupid.
Tokenomics.
And I'm like,
I can argue both sides.
Which one's correct?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing for me. I don't form opinions on anything unless I could tell you why. I could argue the other side just as good as why I believe in what I do. I could tell you.
Okay, let's hear that argument.
So most of the time people will come at me with what you mentioned before. It's not decentralized. Ripple controls half the supply, which they do. They have an escrow of about 50 billion XRP that they hold on their balance sheet. They do dump onto the market. Every single month, they sell 1 billion XRP.
See, if they were so valuable, or they're going to be, and they knew it, why would they do that?
Exactly. To manage the price so that they can continue to trial the network before it gets the adoption, right?
It's been tried. It's
10 years, right? So and banks take a long time before they implement stuff. And other people, there is better technology out there. That's another argument. Well, there's stuff that's faster and there's stuff that's more secure and da-da-da. Well, I can tell you, because the conversations I've had with 3-letter agencies and a lot of institutions and other players, this is what they've decided on. And it was decided a long time ago.
By somebody else.
Right.
And again, I bet you their initials are VR. I mean, someone's running this shit, dude.
Yeah.
And so, if I'm already locked in and me and you are buddies and, he's faster, better, smarter, but me and you are buddies, dude, it doesn't matter with this dude's faster, better, smarter. He ain't getting in. Right. We're buddies.
Well, it's a good old boys club, and people can be mad about that, but that is how the world works.
That is how the world works. It's unfortunate. That's why I keep saying, like, dude, let me in that club, damn it.
Right. Knocking on the door, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to college. I would bet you probably need a college degree to even be considered.
Well, so just transparently, I didn't finish my degree.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I went to school for finance.
But the next one is you got a little cashola.
That's right.
I got a little cashola, but, I haven't broke the 9 figures yet. Well, now, if I liquidate everything I had,
you could.
I think I'd be in the club.
Yeah.
But then again,
you had taxes.
I'd have taxes. I wouldn't know what to do with it. And I'd probably say, hey, here's my money. And you'd be like, we want digital. And by the way, all I'd have to do is buy digital and then send that. You won't take cash?
We'll take cash.
So what do you mean?
A $4 million trade yesterday.
Yeah. So what do you mean only digital assets?
So that's all we work with right now. So
if I gave you 20 million cash,
I couldn't
you'd
buy
turn it into digital?
Yeah, whatever crypto you wanted, as long as
if you were my guy, I'd say, which one do I want?
Exactly.
What would you tell me?
Our people will tell you that you should diversify some if you don't have a high conviction, and we'll give you some options on it.
I got high conviction.
Well, then
I'm going to say I want the one Jake was wearing on his lapel because you happen to have a X-Men.
I do.
X-Men badge on there.
Yeah. Then we'll buy. I mean, like I said, that trade we executed yesterday was $4 million for XRP.
Do you ever see the conspiracy guys where the logo and it's like coincidentally and all this other shit?
Mm-hmm. X.com and
it makes me think like, it's like, dude, see what the hell?
Well, and I don't know if you looked at Tether's logo or not, but it looks like an atomic bomb for their T. So if you were going to use something to blow up a market, makes a lot of sense.
But there's going to be some almost humor involved.
Well, they got to, I think they kind of have to tell you, got to show you what's going on. It's just got to be able to pay attention. Most people don't.
Why would they have to tell you?
I think it's like a karmic law. You know what I mean?
Well, it is if you're a Satanist.
Well, I'm not saying who these people are, man.
Do you believe that there's a Bohemian Grove?
There's a lot of stuff that I got a tinfoil hat about. Yeah.
Well, you've seen Alex Jones. He had undercover footage, and dude, there were freaking presidents and like high-powered people dancing around in robes, praying at a freaking owl.
There's a good old boys club, like we just mentioned, right?
Yeah, but especially in Texas, dude. Is that where you're from?
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, dude, they got good old boys clubs all over that place.
If you know the right people, you can get stuff done.
You ever watch Landman?
Yeah.
It's a freaking great show. It's like Taylor Sheridan. He came out of nowhere. Now everything he makes is freaking gold.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But maybe he knows somebody.
Right. Well, and look, have you ever talked to Patrick Bet-David?
Yes.
So Patrick, started at Bally's, and then he worked with that one individual that was in California and helped him out. I can't think of the individual's name, but he was a high profile client that he had for training.
Oh.
And he had a party at his house that he invited Patrick to, and he stayed and washed dishes with his wife. And then he asked him, do you need help with anything? And he went and saw his son in prison, which none of his other family would do. And that guy said, hey, here's my Rolodex of everybody that I know. You call them and you tell them you know me. And that was like the first guy before like the fifth or sixth introduction that was made there, where he made his first 100 million. And so I've made it a point over the last 4 years to sit down and have an intimate conversation with somebody new every single day. And that's done more for my growth than anything else.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, I preach relationships because it really boils down to relationships. Yeah. At the end of the day, everything that you've gotten and or will get is going to derive from a relationship.
100%.
So I always say the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
That's accurate.
And that's a Bradley or Ridge. I hear people say it to me, and I'm like,
I'm the one that said that. I got trademark.
They're like, you did you? I'm like, dude, I started that back when I was like freaking 52, like 90 years ago. So,
are you a vampire?
What's that?
Are you a vampire?
No, I wish I was. Again, I mean, people are like, the Illuminati. I'm like, dude, invite me.
Right. Yeah.
Like whoever's running the world now. Again, unless they're Satanists, because again, not
into that. Yeah.
Well, if I die and find out, like, holy shit, dude, now you're screwed. All this was worthless. That's what keeps me grounded. Like, I want to get this freaking power and this, but at the end of the day, dude, this life goes by like this. And then the next one, if there's any truth to it, you probably shouldn't have been so worried about the dumb shit on this one. And that's where I'm banking on. I still want to do fairly well, though. Yeah. I like money. It's not
you can't help other people unless you're doing well yourself. Right? And God helps you if you are following his path to get the resources in the network to be able to do his work.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's why I believe I'm blessed. Because, dude, I tried to screw up the shit I'm doing, and I'm still winning in spite of myself.
Yeah.
I wish I had the timing or the luck to where I just would have, because I think it was $7 when someone was telling me about Bitcoin. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, how do you get rid of it? And they're like, well, you go on computer and, you can trade it with other people. And I'm like, why would I want to trade with people? Like, can I buy a couch? No. He said, no. Like, can I get a freaking coffee at Starbucks with it? They're like, no. I'm like, well, then why would I give my money that I can do that with to some tradable bullshit?
Yeah.
And I didn't get it.
Well,
so I said no.
I think most people.
But had I known and had I understood and had I been a geek, because there was geeks that understood.
Oh, and they made a lot of,
Yeah, they're freaking set for life now. Yeah. So I would have probably thrown, I always say, probably 10 to 20 G's when it was $7. That's what I would have just, okay, let's see what happens. But I also could have sold it at 30.
Right. Well, and that's what most people did. They sold it 50, 100, 1,000, 2,000.
You think they bought it when it was 200 and wrote it up?
Yeah.
Because I've never lost. I got it at 600 and it's never been 600 again, I don't think. So it's like, I've never lost, But at the end of the day, if I'd have held every damn Bitcoin, someone gave me 3 Bitcoin for a poker table that was in here. 3 when they were $600.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he went to my house and we were sitting there and he was not from Vegas and he goes, hey, you got any cash? And I said, yeah, why? He goes, I need a little cash.
Swap you a Bitcoin for.
He sent me 3 Bitcoin for $2,000.
Oh.
I said, no problem. I gave him the cash. He sent me the Bitcoin. Bing, cool.
That was an expensive transaction on his part.
Yeah, it's like what's the math? It's like,
yeah, I mean, if you had $300,000 today,
yeah,
he got $2,000.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the guy that originally sent the 100 and change to my wallet, when he opened his wallet, it said 16 million in Bitcoin.
Oh, wow. At the time?
Not 16 million Bitcoin.
16 million at $600 a piece.
Yeah, at the time. Wow. And he said, and I go, holy shit, bro. And he said, yeah, that's one wallet. I've got several. So this guy had like millions in Bitcoin back when it was $600.
Wow.
That's
so
just
you
like
have been mining it when it was like pennies.
It's just like unfathomable, like wealth. Because you go from regular Joe, these guys are regular Joes.
Well, I think anybody that gets extremely well, I mean, there are some people that are not a regular person that do really well. They're extremely intelligent and like, but most people I know are just cool, good, genuine people, and they solved a big problem for people and made a bunch of money that way, or they made a good investment, made a good call. You know, they were in early on something.
Well, dude, I'm going to probably circle back and throw you some dough. I'm like your minimal guy. Like you're the one that like I barely, will be allowed in. But there may be some people listening with, a lot of digital currency. So you might get, $100 million transferred to you. Tell him it's the bomb squad, folks. So he realizes, hey, I was worth going on.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll bet you there's more that don't have it. Like, why don't you give some sort of deal to like regular Joes? Because
we have a lot of compliance and stuff that we have to deal with, and the economics don't necessarily work. Eventually we'll get to the point where we can lower the cost of custody to, where we have enough assets that we can lower things down to accommodate everybody. And that's the idea, right? If we're managing hundreds of billions of dollars or trillions of dollars and we're making money on the money, I can offer all the custody and the other stuff for free.
Well, my question would be like, what does it matter if 1 million people gave you 1 Bitcoin each or one gave you 1 million? It's still 1 million Bitcoin.
Each one of those accounts has costs associated with it for KYB, KYC, accreditation. There's additional compliance and red tape that I have to deal with because we're an actual SEC registered RIA, whereas like a DeFi protocol or something on the web, it doesn't matter as much. So
what would you tell the people to do that don't have they're not meeting your minimal qualifications? What should they do to participate?
I'd get yourself over on a cold wallet. You mentioned that,
I did that and there's like 3 or 4 Bitcoin and I don't know how to get in it anymore. There was a phrase. I wrote it down in a book. I took a picture of it. I can't find the picture. I can't find the book.
I don't know.
Dude, it's stupid. And I knew it was stupid, but I did it when it was nothing. So I pretend that that's nothing.
Right. It was still $600 in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, over the next 6 months, we will bring down the threshold. And the other piece is I have to have advisors and people to be able to manage all these accounts at scale too. So the way I look at a market and how we scale things is similar to like Tesla. Okay. So they came out with the Model X or the Model Y. It was the Roadster, right? It was the high end, the expensive one. And then over time, he's now brought that down to where it's economical for people to purchase a Tesla. But you have to start with the higher stuff first so that you have enough cash flow and all of that to be able to then come down on everything after you've grown.
Am I going to be able to log in and see what I'm
Sure
holding?
Enough. Yeah, we have Securitize.
Because I like when I open Coinbase and see what's up.
Yeah.
And then some days it's like, dude, I made 50 grand today.
Yeah.
And then the next day I'm like, I lost 40 grand today. It's going, and I'm like, that's why I just got to hold it.
Yep.
Because I opened up that same account and it was down like half.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Made millions in a day and lost millions in a day. And that's hard to stomach when you're looking at your account.
Yeah, but are you able to make millions, liquefy, and then where you didn't lose millions because you went dink, and then the next day you go bink, and then you bink?
You're going to have tax implications the whole time.
So what?
Well, I mean, if you're
so worried about taxes. Give me $100 million cash. Yeah, I'll pay taxes. You act like that's well, you fuck.
Well, I mean,
pay taxes.
if you sold $100 million, it's $20 million in taxes.
So what?
I mean,
there's $80 million left.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you, and some people are fine with that, but
I'm fine with it.
Our job is to make sure you keep as much money as you can.
Well, I know, but you're acting like, it's $100 million, but you'd have to pay taxes. Forget it.
Well, and some people are okay with that. Like, and there's
you'd rather not pay taxes,
or just borrow against it, because then you continue to get the upside, right? So the wealthiest people in the world, this is what family offices do. This is what the Rockefellers do. Zuck, Bezos, Elon, how he bought Twitter, he borrowed against his SpaceX stock, right? So he didn't have to deal with the capital gains on that. He still gets to keep that in perpetuity as it appreciates.
And until he dies or someone sells it, like it's only tax deferred. It's not tax free.
Debt's always tax free, and then you can reinsure the debt, and that'll pay off the debt, and then the asset moves to your children. And we structure that through PPLI or private placement life insurance.
So you know how to do all that?
Same Rockefeller method. We have a couple people that used to work at the Rockefeller office, family office.
And you started this whole thing?
I did.
Do all these people, like, do they look at you and say, I'm smarter than you, bro?
I want people to be smarter than me. I want to hire people smarter than me.
But do you get these people that, like, because you're the boss, they're sitting there like, you prick, how did you, like, don't they want to be the boss?
Most people don't. You run a business. The headache that comes along with making payroll and dealing with big decisions and changing directions, or the problems that get to you are a problem, right?
If you look at them that way. And yes, they are. Just for the record, folks, yes, they are problems. However, I'm so used to them. It's like
you're numb, right? And then once you're in that position long enough, you've built that skill set that you're able to look at it. You try to flip it as an opportunity is what I do. I go, okay, this is the problem I have. How do I take advantage of this problem and actually turn it around and make it something good?
Yeah, I do the same. It's like a challenge. And yeah, sometimes I get frustrated, but dude, if someone said, hey, Brad, give me the whole company, I'll run it, I'll take all the problems and all the pain and all the bullshit, and you just go sit over there pain free and make what I'm making, I'd be like, pass.
Right.
I got no mind. Big risk, big reward.
Exactly. Yeah, but most people aren't willing to take that swing. Right. And that's why. So
what if you'd have lost your money when you were saving it for the house for you and your wife?
I'm 30 years old at the time, and I would have taken the L and learned from it. And then,
would your wife have been pissed?
Oh, for sure.
Did she ever tell you?
She's been pissed.
Don't do it.
Oh yeah. Constantly,
what'd you say
the whole time?
What'd you say?
She's after 5 years has just now come around on it.
Who's the boss? Obviously you.
Sometimes just Fins, but yeah.
Well, like I picked a wife once that wanted to be the boss, and that was why she's no longer my wife. My current wife, she don't want to be the boss. She doesn't even know how much money we have. She's never asked, and she's never looked in the bank accounts. She don't even know where the bank accounts are. If I died right now, that Bitcoin's gone. She don't even know about it, number one, unless she's listening. And number two, she wouldn't know how to get it anyway.
That's the deal. Most spouses have no clue.
Well, that's why I want to move it over to you guys, or I don't know how many people are like you. You say you're the only ones, but like I'd move it to you guys just because I feel it's safer there, number one. Number two, I'm going to be making money on it beyond just the money that I make because it raises and lowers. Correct?
Correct.
So, but what's my risk? There's got to be more risk given it to you. What if you abscond with it?
We go to jail.
What if 4 years from now we hear American Greed, Jake Claver, gain notoriety, getting on, dropping bombs? No, just okay.
No,
what if you're on American Greed? How do we know you're not absconding with our dough? We're
here in the U.S., so that's the other piece. You have full recourse against my firm, my employees, myself. It's not like Dao Quan, who rugged everybody with Luna over there in Singapore and is just now being prosecuted.
What happened with Sam Friedman?
He went to the Bahamas. He's in a nice prison.
But what happened? What's the story? I know he scammed people, but like, wasn't it legit in the beginning or something?
So Alameda and all the company structures he did, he laundered a bunch of money and rehypothecated a bunch of stuff. And the banks do this now. So like this is the other piece that people don't really understand about this is they had a bank run on him if you had a bank run on the banks like you did on FTX, they would collapse too. But there wouldn't be any recourse against them because there's regulations and the bad bank, and they'll bail them out with FDIC insurance. That didn't happen. There's no FDIC insurance. The government doesn't cover this stuff, and so people lost $3 billion, or maybe it was more than that, and they all came after him in a lawsuit. And so, he got prison time for basically orchestrating a fraudulent enterprise that was fractionally reserve banking, basically, not fully backed. And when everybody called their capital at the same time, he couldn't pay it. So,
but if no one did that, it would have been fine.
It'd have been fine.
It's like these, pyramids that they shut down. It's like, as long as you let them go, they'll keep working and everyone will get their money. The fact that you shut them down is why everyone got dicked.
Yeah.
People are like, no, eventually it would have crashed, but it didn't. So just stay out of it until it does and then do something. Why? Because, dude, I've seen them when I was a kid that you would bring 2,000 to this party. You ever been to one of those? Mm-hmm. So you bring 2,000 to this party, and it's what do they call an airplane? It's basically a Ponzi scheme, but the Ponzi schemes work. Until someone stops them, and then they stop working. So they work. I bring 2,000. I'm technically getting suckered, but I bring my 2,000, and then the next party, you're going to be one of the ones that get your 16 back, right? Because there's 8 people that are brought. So I was brought. I pay. I watch some dude get 16 grand. Next party, I don't have to bring my 2 grand. I just bring my friend with 2 grand, and then I get 16 grand. And eventually, everybody keeps getting money. Yeah. So I went to the party like a dumbass because it is dumb to do, but I did it, and I got 16 grand, and then I stayed in it, and I ended up getting like 32 grand.
Right. Over now you made money. Yeah.
I only gave 2 grand.
Right.
But it kept going and going and going. And then the news came out and said, oh, these scams are happening. Don't get caught. And then no one would do them anymore. And the people that just paid,
they lost all their money.
They're the ones that got screwed.
Well, so this is the deal. The Federal Reserve and the U.S. banking system, most people think that their money's at the bank.
Yeah, no, it's a record.
Not there. They
loan it out immediately.
They leverage 10 to 1. If everybody can,
and that should be illegal.
It should be, but they can print money. So that
should be illegal. They can loan 10 times what they have.
What do you think is a reasonable amount?
Reasonable?
Yeah, like
half, maybe 50%.
So.
Well, only because they got credit too. Right. So I'll back it for 2 times the amount. So you give me $1 million, I should be able to loan out $2 million based on that $1 million backing it and my credit, right? But not 10 times.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's fairly reasonable. But you do need credit in an economy for expansion. Like people need loans, and banks need to be able to make money and stay in business, right? So there's some of that's required. But I'm with you. And during COVID, it was zero.
Well, it should also be backed by gold, like they said it was. But what was it? 1930?
August 15th, 1971 is when Nixon removed us from the gold standard.
Yeah, no, that's when it's like, okay, so what's the backing then?
U.S. government. And our military. And that's what I was saying earlier.
I'll back them up.
Yeah. They're going to make sure you use whatever they want.
But I think maybe it was the last conversation because it was around the related topic. But I was thinking, he said, you can't fractionalize people. Was that you or him?
It must have been Polymesh.
Yeah, I don't agree because we're fractionalized with the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're born, that Social Security, they're getting loans against your ass and your future revenue.
A lot of crazy stuff that people have no clue about, yeah.
And that is a fact,
Yeah.
So like that's fractionalizing human beings, basically. The IRS and the government does it. You get born, you get a Social Security in there, and they can now go get a loan on your future earnings.
Yep. Yeah, the GDP that you're going to produce over your lifetime.
Yep. That is crazy, if you ask me. But they do it.
The amount of structured products and derivatives. So that's the other, and this is why XRPs can be worth way more than just what we've talked about here on the show.
How soon do you think?
This year.
What do you mean this year? This year it'll be worth 2,500?
It could be by the end of the year.
Like guaranteed in your mind. Like if it ain't done by 2 years, it doesn't matter.
So the reverse carry trade. Like these things that I've mentioned, these are catalysts that have to transpire. Like those things have to happen.
Are they coming?
They are on the doorstep.
Are they inevitable?
They are inevitable.
So when that happens, XRP, I start to see it rise. My account's going, duh, 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 duh. Should I liquidate? Will it come back down once it's all stabilized, or will it remain that high and higher?
It'll remain that high and higher. And the reason for that is there'll be enough liquidity in it, like we talked about before, for these counterparties that settle transactions to do that all day long, but use XRP. So Swift settles $5 trillion a day. If that volume moves onto the network when XRP is $100, it'll stay there. If they start settling the back end of the stock market, which is $5 to $6 trillion a day, now we have more demand, and it's going to move to another price and stay there because it's got sustained demand and volume from the settlement of those networks and those markets.
And it just becomes the new global financial system.
I think it'll be a tier 1 asset in the banking system and be highly, highly valuable.
So I should buy some more XRP.
Well, so let me get to the derivatives, because that's where the things get juicy. Okay. So, and I think this is Ripple's ultimate goal for what they're building. They have a product called Codius that's been in, beta for a long time. But it's a smart contract, derivatives platform. And so all of these structured derivatives products, right now, you can't even quantify derivatives. People don't even know the risk. That's why Lehman and all those people failed in 2008. Is they had all these, mortgage-backed securities that they had packaged up and sold and taken leverage on and done a bunch of stuff with, which is gambling, but they do it because they make a bunch of money. They can't even quantify their risk, and nobody can tell you how much the derivatives market's worth. It's somewhere between like 400 trillion and like $4 quadrillion. And if you had an accounting mechanism that could be used to identify all the risk across that and issue all these derivatives, because they're complex, you need some smart contracts that are really complex to be able to do this. And that was on the XRPL, and XRP settles those. Now we're talking like $10,000 to $50,000 in XRP. And that's, I think, 5 years.
That soon? 10,000? Let me see what I'd have here. Let me see.
And I just want to reiterate again, none of this is financial advice. It's only for entertainment, educational purposes only. Please always speak with your wealth advisor before making any investment decisions.
I second that. It won't even calculate that high.
Yeah.
What's 10,000 times 49,116?
Be about 4.9 million. 4.9 billion with a B.
Yeah, billion.
Yeah.
Let's go, XRP. See, I'd cash out, or I wouldn't cash out. I'd move it and borrow.
And we'll be able to refinance at lower and lower interest rates. Like, that's the other cool part. Similar to, like, imagine starting your real estate portfolio in the 80s and the interest rates you would have paid back then. But if you had continued to, draw the equity out, pull a HELOC, have it where it was making money for you, refinance it at a lower interest rate, decade after decade. That's how these people have built $100 million, billion.
That's the Rockefeller waterfall method, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then when you die, because you're dead, it goes ching, 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 and it starts all over with your kids.
Right. If you have reinsurance.
And if they do it right, it'll do all over with their kids. Yeah. That's why there's these massive old money families that's been waterfalling for their whole life. And they borrow everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I would never sell. I wish I never sold any of my Bitcoin, because let's say 250 times whatever it is, 100,000. That's
25 million.
Yeah. So I just borrow against it. Yep. And then you got to pay it back. Well, do you? You ever see that meme where he's like, you sure about that? That's what I think about when someone goes, well, you got to pay it back. I'm like, you sure about that?
So the way we do it is we'll take a portion that you borrowed and we'll structure an annuity that makes the payments for you.
And they're happy to do it.
Yep. And then we'll take another portion and we will fund reinsurance on the debt that you borrowed. Mm-hmm. And when you pass away, that reinsurance covers the debt and the asset passes directly to your family.
And the insurance
is the wrapper that moves it to your trust, and it grows tax-free inside the insurance policy.
Yeah, so you're basically never having to repay it.
It's infinite banking, but for crypto. Yeah.
Don't say I didn't bring you anybody. Now, again, hey, make your own investments. What was your disclaimer?
Yeah, only for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always work with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
So, dude, before you real quick, because I know you got to run. Before you started making, 9 figures, what you said you saved your money to buy a house.
Yeah.
What were you doing for a living then?
I was doing M&A. So I worked with like blue collar business owners to increase the valuation of their business and exit.
How'd you know how to do that?
I worked for Fortune 500 company for a long time, scaled multiple locations for them.
What were you making? Were you just a regular Joe making a
regular Joe? Yeah, making, most of my 20s, I made like 50 to 60 grand. I managed the largest location.
A year?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Your parents rich?
No.
So you just came from nothing, really. Yeah, 50, 60 grand. Like that's a receptionist job.
Yeah. I mean, so Fastenal was the company that I used to work for. Their CEO has been rated the cheapest CEO of any Fortune 500 company.
Why'd you pick them?
They were close to the college that I went to at UNT. They had a factory up there that I worked in, and then I ended up working in the stores. But I really value my time there because it taught me how to run a business. They literally paid you nothing, but you had to do everything, right? So I had to do payroll. I had to do accounts receivable. I had to do inventory. I had to forecast what we're going to need. I had to quote everything. I had to do the sales. I had to do everything, managing those locations.
Had you not wanted to buy a house and save that money, would you be in the same spot you are?
Not at all. No.
Where would you be if you didn't make the moves you made?
Probably be still working in industrial sales. Yeah, making
just a regular Joe.
Yeah. The last job that I had before I did the M&A consulting, I'd been acquired by another company to help them scale their business. And I was making 6 figures, company truck, company card. And by most people, it's pretty good, So if I sold this business you're in right now for, let's say, half a bill, yeah,
I could open up a family office.
Yes.
That's enough.
Yeah, way more than enough. So we
and then would I hire people to come work for my family office?
Correct.
And usually a family office, just for my clarity, they're investing my own money in things.
Correct.
We're not looking for you to give me money.
Well, sometimes you syndicate deals with other people or do JVs, or you might do a fund of funds where you participate in somebody else's fund, or you might raise capital and pool capital for something that you're extremely competent in, right? So there's certain types of investments.
I want to do movies.
What's that?
I'd want to make movies.
Well, that's great because the first $15 million you get a tax write-off.
You're big about taxes, ain't you? Hey, you can even get 100% write-off in certain countries if you go film there, but apparently, it's not even worth that. But dude, it's not for the tax write-off. It's because there's no good movies anymore.
I agree with you. I haven't seen one in.
Well, how old are you?
33.
Yeah. So dude, I'm 56. So that's 23. You were born when I was 23. Yeah. Even before that, maybe 16 to 25-ish, that's when the movies were killer.
Yeah.
Movies were good.
Now they're
you got the dumbest movies ever now, and nobody's making great movies.
Well, it's always a repeat of the same thing. Was Fast and Furious 15 or something? What are they on?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't watch that franchise, but I can tell you this, dude. You can make a lot of money in movies, especially nowadays. You can make them way less. And if, there's still billions of people to watch it, they can watch it right from home.
Right. Netflix and
Yeah, there's a way to make money making movies. And not only that, it'd be a hobby. Yeah. So if I just cashed out with one of my businesses and had a big lump sum that I'm willing to gamble because I'm not a gambler or I'd not live in Vegas. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, it doesn't scare me because I say, I'll throw 10 million and if it doesn't work, I still got 240.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
What happens? I lose. That's like me gambling $100 on the blackjack table. It's if I lose, I'm out $100. Big deal. But just to another level.
Well, and people don't think about percentages like that. And that's really how wealthy people operate, right? So you see people pay for a private jet. Well, their income and their net worth probably is the same equivalent to you flying commercial for the jet, right? Or maybe even less.
Plus, it was 100%.
Right.
You could write it. You could write the whole thing off first year.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Trump's going to bring that back. We're going to get the accelerated depreciation.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. So if you need a jet.
Although this guy upstairs, he's a billionaire. He's told me several times, don't buy a jet, bro.
It doesn't make sense unless you're going to fly at least 2,000 hours a year.
He said it doesn't make sense even then.
Really?
He said, dude, trust me.
Is it like a boat? You know, like it's always got a problem.
It's always got an issue. And then again, let's say you have one. Well, let's say it's broke because they break. Well, now what do you?
Somebody else's,
you got to charter someone else's. Yours is in the thing getting fixed. You got to pay the pilots.
Right.
And he said, you know, and then the pilots, he said, you go somewhere, you got to put them up at hotels, you know, and you're not going to put them in the same hotel you're in. Right. So now they're over there and then they want to bitch because you got them over there in the cheap hotel and you're in the five. But why would you pay, you know, for them to be in the good one? And then he goes, and then they hang around like a bad smell. And I'm like, damn, dude. Like,
you're making this sound really bad.
Well, no, he made it sound like, you know, well, they're just pilots. Like, well, I guess if you're a billionaire.
Lowly pilot.
You know, I look up to pilots. I'm like, dang, dude, fucking pilots are cool.
Yeah.
I'd want to hang out with my pilot. Yeah. But he said, don't buy one, dude. He goes, it's constant money. I've owned, I think, 6 of them.
Well, he would know then.
Yeah, he says, dude, it's just not worth it. And I said, yeah, but I want to leave my clothes in there if I want and put my name on the tail. Yeah. And he said, you want to spend all that money so you can leave clothes on it, which was kind of stupid. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He said, charter it. And you can buy a jet card if you want it cheaper.
Right. You can get a membership or something.
Yeah, because what happens when you want to go somewhere and yours is broke? Which happens a lot.
Yeah, you're going to have to charter anyway. So
now you owe that. He said, if you have a, you know, charter, they got a fleet.
Right. They got multiple planes. Yeah. They're going to find you one.
It's just you, get a little one. You got a family, get the big one.
Right.
You're going to London, you're going to freaking Idaho. He said, trust me, dude, it's a waste of money. You gotta fix it every time it lands. There's annual things you do, the maintenance and the insurance and the fuel and the pilots he said, trust me, don't do it. And he's a billionaire, dude.
Well, I mean, he's got the money to do it, and it sounds like he's owned them. So the tax benefit's the only thing that I think, if you had a big liquidity event, like say you did sell one of your businesses and you needed to write that off, but you said you're fine with paying the taxes, right? And you're going to be long-term capital gains.
No, I mean, I don't want to pay taxes. I'm okay with it though. Yeah. Like if you said, Brad, I can get you $250 for your company, but you're going to owe $50 in taxes. I think it's $200 million net.
It's fine.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because that's how I think.
Yeah.
50 million, good. Give it away. Give me my 200. and then I'd say, now listen, I want to take half of this 100, throw it somewhere where I'm getting some conservative, guaranteed 8%.
Yep.
I'll never, ever lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take this 100 and go make movies, gamble, maybe buy some XRP, roll the dice. Because I always tell people, you ever roll dice?
I'm not a craps player,
but you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like act like you're rolling dice, but just don't let it go. Just roll it. Just roll the dice. See, most people are thinking that this, you know, is gambling. This isn't gambling. This is this.
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta roll them to get paid. And I'm a dice roller, bro.
Yeah.
I started this. Everything I've started that's thankfully succeeding was always a dice roll.
Yeah. Well, it's the people that take the risk on something that get the reward. And that's, some people are like, there shouldn't be any billionaires. Well, you don't know the shit sandwich that they ate for an extended period of time and the risk that they took in order to build whatever generated.
Well, let's say my XRP goes to serious money, like you said, 10 grand, and I have 2 billion. Dude, that wasn't a risk.
No, that was a strategic investment. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just saw and heard, man, if this does go global and it's the only one that supposedly can, and and they're already locking in, then dang, I could see it going at least to 250.
Well, yeah, and I don't have a crystal ball.
And by the way, 250. Let me see what I got.
I have to do the math on that real quick.
Yeah, 250. Yeah, even at 250, $250 a coin times 49,118 equals 12,279,000. I paid, I think 50 G's for it. Like, done. Well, you're gonna have to pay taxes. No, I won't.
Borrow.
I'm gonna transfer it over. I'm never gonna take it. I'm just gonna borrow against it. What's the last question? What's the, like on a home, a HELOC will usually go 60, 80%, depending. What's the most you can bank on?
XRP today, we can get somewhere between 50 and 60% LTV.
So if I got 12 mil, I can borrow 6.
Yep.
And if it drops down to 4, they call it.
But you get the option to buy it back first.
Why can't I just tell them, wait, it'll go back up?
Well, that's why you get 7 days. So DeFi protocol just liquidates you. You get a lot of protections the way that we structure it versus what you would if you just put it in an Aave or Compound or some of this DeFi stuff that's out there. We have tri-party agreements with our lenders, and they provide a lot of assurances and benefits, and
which is cool because they don't really want the asset, dude.
No,
they want their money,
the income, right? Like that's the whole point. They want the private credit. That's a hard money loan basically for them. The interest rate on it right now is somewhere between 10 and 15%. But I think as we see the appreciation and people are able to underwrite the risk, you'll get a higher LTV with a lower interest rate.
Since you're registered, can't I see your performance somewhere?
Yeah, we publish our fund performance. We'll probably do somewhere around 3% over this first quarter on our clients' assets. So about, like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20% a year is our target if we hit 12%. And you
how long
have to
you been
sell
doing
the
it?
asset. We started the fund back in April, and we started this business 2 years ago, but we started taking clients' assets 7 months ago.
If I got a Harvard financial expert to look at it and advise whether I should give you 10 mil, what would they say?
They would say this is the most buttoned up crypto thing I've ever seen in my life.
So they advised me to do so.
They would look at it. We have auditors. Like we have done this at the highest standard possible for anybody that's doing this in crypto.
Well, throw me a Bitcoin every once in a while if you get a big investor from Bomb Squad.
Deal.
Bomb Squad, listen up. Go follow the dude at minimum because he's giving you free game on his social media. Jake Claver, CLAVER.com is his website. Jake Claver on Instagram, TikTok. Beyond_broke on Twitter. Where are you mostly on?
Twitter's mainly where I reside, but our media team's on all social media platforms.
Yeah, but they want to talk to you. How do they find you? And where do they go get the live where you drop all the knowledge?
Yeah, so we're live every Monday and Wednesday night on Instagram, on X or Twitter, and on YouTube, and on TikTok. And then we have a mastermind group where I come in there twice a week, Saturdays and Mondays, and do a full hour-long or 2-hour-long deal where we answer all the questions. And then beyond that, we have YouTube videos that we put out almost weekly. So,
well, we're going to have you back next time you're in Vegas. I'm going to be watching your fund. I'm going to be watching XRP. I'm going to be waiting for this reverse carry trade. I always think it's like a reverse rising. Where am I getting that from?
I don't know.
I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to go get some more XRP. That's just my own personal decision. Bomb Squad, you make yours, but I'd go get some, and I'm going to go get some in a minute. Until next time, keep it real.